And I'm back with also Willie. What's up, man? How's it going, man?
Yeah, man, not too bad also.
Man, what's the temperature over there, man? Looks hot.
Oh, it's warm, yeah, man. It's warm out here today.
Yeah.
Probably in mid-30s. Probably be sitting around 35, 36.
It's a holiday over there.
Yeah, we got a public holiday, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's a public holiday today. A short week, and I think there's another few public holidays coming up, man. It's just sort of any excuse, say, for these guys here just to have a day off. So, yeah, not bad at all.
Oh, nice, yeah. It's good you're back on. It's good to have a chat about the round of Super Rugby Pacific, and that's what we're here to do. So round 3 happened in the weekend, and there was like a theme. It was culture round.
Yeah.
Something that I think it's another initiative Super Rugby is trying to do to make the competition more exciting,
interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. They have things. I think they took it off NRL. NRL has a cultural round.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
NRL do, but they also held But I think last year and a few years back, they used to host it in Melbourne, where they have all the teams come to Melbourne and then they'll play all in that one weekend. And
that's what they call Super Round there. Super Round?
Yeah. And that was pretty much like a cultural round as well, which is having all the teams in one, and which is, I think that's probably a better spectacle, really, because you've got, 3 days, of just full-on rugby, man, Super Rugby at that. So, that's still good to have, I'd say, but yeah, like I think Moana and the Highlanders kicked it off really well, eh?
Yeah, they did. What I liked about it is each home team had to do a haka. So that was cool. Got to see the...
Oh, that's what the theme was, eh?
Yeah.
So each home team had to do a haka.
Yeah, that's right. So the Hurricanes did their one, and it was always good to see a haka, eh? Because that's not like the All Blacks haka. Everyone's used to the All Blacks haka.
Yeah.
But when individual teams have their own hakas and they perform it, it's cool to watch, eh? It's really good to watch, eh, man?
Yeah, I think that just gives a representation also of their regions, eh? Just like I said, from a Māori perspective, like you just look at each tribe that pretty much dominant in that area, in that region, like Wellington, so up in Auckland there'd probably be another one, but man, that's all around the country, so that's not a bad idea. Was it just the New Zealand teams though that did the hakas? Because I couldn't see the Aussie teams doing doing a haka, to be honest, man. I think there'll be a few memes going on there if they did that.
But they did wear their different outfits, eh? They had to wear a themed jersey. I think New South Wales wore their one, eh? Like the themed cultural jersey. I guess the Drua. But did the Drua perform a haka? I don't know.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know the Drua did their haka. But they do theirs pretty much every round, eh? Like every game, I think. So
yeah, that's right. So I think Chiefs did their one because they hosted the Brumbies, and that's why we saw Moana Pacifica do their haka or their sifatau, which is like, they kind of mixed it, eh? Had all the cultures that were lined in there.
The Moana Pacifica one?
Yeah. I think that's what I saw, but
Ari led it, eh?
No, he didn't. It was someone else.
He didn't lead it?
No, it was someone else.
That's interesting. I thought he would have led it, to be honest.
Yeah, he was in the front, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it was one of the props, I believe. I'm not sure. But, yeah, man, that's culture round. A little extra added thing. Themes that go on in the Super Rugby. I didn't really watch the whole round. I just watched 2 games, the Blues and Hurricanes, and the Moana game, Moana and Highlanders.
Probably the important games for you.
yeah. The Auckland home teams, eh? But it was cool to see Moana playing their home grounds because they had taken over North Harbour Stadium now. So I was like,
packed. It looked like it was packed.
Yeah, well, it was always packed in that one side of the shelter. But yeah, there was a few celebrities you noticed in the crowd, like they had good support there.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I didn't see the opening because I was coming back home from work. I was driving back, but I watched parts of it, and And then I did watch it. It was pretty full on. It was a good game, man. Like I think I spoke to you last week when we spoke about it. Like Artie was Artie carried that team, and I think that's probably and that's where good coaching is going to be needed to just to manage him, manage his workload, because man, he's doing it all. He's tackling, he's turning over, he's scoring tries. He's for a player to be consistently doing that week in, week out. I'm not saying that he can't do it, but it's gonna take its toll unless some of the other players around him stand up.
Yeah, he played 7. He played 7 this week. We saw 8 last week. He played 7. But he's he was the star of the game because he scored that try, that amazing try when he caught that high ball. But he ended up with 14 carries. He ran for 61 meters. He beat 3 defenders. He had 1 clean break, 1 offload, and 1 try assist. So, yeah, man, that performance right there, those numbers right there, man, will be like it's a man of the match type numbers, man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, I don't think he did get man of the match. So it was just, yeah, like I said before, man, he carried that team, in the way that, way he performed it. Yeah, what those numbers pushed out, but is he going to be able to sustain those numbers week in, week out? You start wondering, like again, saying those players around him now they really need to stand up. I think just listening to some commentary around that, the 9 and 10, they weren't really, they weren't really driving the team around. I thought that Garden Bishop was going to be really good for them this year. I think it doesn't look like he's sort of, like he's still he's indecisive in his decisions around controlling the game for the team. They could have won it. That was, pretty much they could have won that game, to be honest.
Really, if he got all his kicks over, they would have won the game.
Yeah, but that's what I mean about like there's a lot of those points that they left with those kicks. Also just their handling, like they're just core skills and stuff, and dropping the ball at just really important times, and then just also missed tackles, just the lineouts. Like where they were down in their line, down in Highlanders line in that last probably 5 minutes when they got those lineouts, and like all they needed to do was just keep it simple. They didn't need to do a fancy, just keep the ball simple and just get the ball in and do a rolling ball. And they couldn't, they didn't really execute that. I think so. That's where I think they lost it, to be honest. Like just those little micro skills that were for them to actually get and get wins on board. That's what they got to stop. Like just managing, and those are things that they can manage as a team, or as players, really, not so much as a management. That comes down to an individual thing, man, to the players, and there's some hard lessons taken out of that game, because that's 3 games in a row they've lost in the last 10 minutes. Like pretty really close games, man. So they're not far off, but I think if they clean up that area in terms of those small skills, they'll probably in the next games they'll probably see them start winning. Cause, they can play all of them individually. As paper on paper per player, individually they're good, man. So it's not that they're not good enough. It's just those little skills that are probably just letting them down.
Yeah, that's right. And the way you're describing it, it just reminds me of a team like Manu Samoa, like a team that's full of talent, but it's those little micro schools that let them down, like the drop balls,
that's the same with the Drua, though.
Yeah.
That's the same with any Pacific Island team. It's just those little changes. It's those 4 things, and that's why you see teams like the Brumbies or the the teams like the Blues, or you look at the Hurricanes. Those are the four four roles or non-negotiable skills that they do that 1,000 times. And if you look at the French teams, you look at the top 14 teams in Europe, that's all they do. It's not so much about the talent, that the X factor thing that comes in. That's the natural flair. But if you can't do those passes, catching passes, and tackling, 1,000 times a day at training, then it's just going to make it hard. Those are the results that you'll get. But it's a mindset. It's a mindset shift from the players, because Artie's gone in there, man, like he's gone, and he'll change it. He'll change the mentality of and how they train more so than how they play. It's just, hey, this is how you get good at what you do, is by just doing these little things, the small things, and being, it's the habits. That's all it is. Like, it's just changing the habits to then, when it comes on the field, it just happens without thinking, without thinking about it, or trying to think, man, I've got to catch and pass. But it's just building those habits for those players, and that's what Artie will bring. That's what Sonny Bill brought to the All Blacks, man. When he came across, and he broke every detail in his training right down to where the players started thinking about it and go, how he looks after himself, what he eats, and from a Pacific Islander's point of view, man, we love to eat. You see when they pull a culture around, you see the culture around down at the Highlanders. They had all the pork and they had the sopasui and all the island food out. So the nutrition guy would have just been sitting there shaking his head.
Because I always thought, like, do you think it's a coaching thing then, or is it just individuals have to do better in
it's an individual
in training, or do they need someone like Adi Sevilla to come in that's had experience with the All Blacks and knowing what the systems are and knowing how to do the fundamentals right and coming in there? Because there's a danger of, because you hear it, what these commentators are saying, like there's this danger of Adi coming into a team like Moana being the best player of the team, but adopting these bad habits too.
Yeah, no. But the thing with Adi, he'll change habits. That's thing, like he'll still maintain his standards, and that's the change that the coaches will be looking for from Adi. Like it's again, like you go back to Sonny Bill. That's the change that Sonny Bill brought into the mentality of the Pacific Island boys that were in the All Blacks. Like it's the change of habits, the way you train. Like when you train, like, man, they'll break it right down to what he's eating. That's the discipline. The discipline and the focus that a guy like Artie will bring to those boys. It's just a lot of those boys haven't been in academies. Like some of them have probably been in, the Auckland academies or the county's Manukau academies, but not to the point where they're getting paid every day that's what they've got to manage. They've got to manage what they eat, how they train, what they're drinking. All of those habits go out all of those bad habits is what Artie is, how I feel, was brought in to change. But and not by talking about it, it's just by doing it, and everybody will, like us Islanders, that's how we learn. Artie's doing that, I should. So we replicate that, and you get the young kid, Taumoefolau on the wing, you have him around a guy like Artie, and he'll see those habits and, like, man, he now understands what it takes to get to that next level, to the All Black level, and that's just around that whole group as a whole. And then you add Tana, because Tana can only, or the coaches can only coach, but when you've got a player that can do that and coach on the field at the same time, that's half your battle as a coaching team done, because it's you're getting somebody that understands how you want to play, but then build those habits so then the players that around him can follow. You know, that's what really makes what makes Adi outstanding. You know, and I'm probably one of those guys that I feel for him because he's going to be carrying that whole load. Just how much are they going to, manage, how they're going to manage him is probably a key in ensuring that he's going to be okay for the All Blacks in the middle of the year for when the French team come down, you know. So, but it's good. I think it's good for the environment, you know, for Moana Pacifica. I just think, I think probably a few more other players, could probably add some balance to that team. I think having maybe another 10 or probably another 9, just to keep those other guys on there. So, I think somebody like Folau Whakatawa would probably be a really good fit for the Moana Pacifica, because that's the style that they play, like they like to run the ball, but physical around the rucks, So I think, like somebody like Folau Whakatawa would be really good. I wouldn't mind seeing Jamie Joseph though as part of their coaching crew. Like he'd be awesome in that. You take a team like a group of those players and put it with Jamie Joseph, and I think he'll probably make some really good strides with him. I think he'll make some changes with those players. Yeah, good. Should be interesting.
Yeah, they've got this Player of the Year thing at the end of the season. We could have a Coach of the Year too, Super Rugby Coach of the Year, because I think Jamie Joseph will be in the front lines for that one.
Yeah, he's sort of miles ahead at the moment, eh? But that's from a development, point of view. Like he sets a really good program. Can't talk much, can't talk enough about him. But to be honest with you, because you look at Auckland, and and I know they won last year, and I think there's been some commentary around like they need to really change how they play the game. And I've heard a couple of podcasts, like I've heard, the Breakdown Show, they talk about it, that they need to really change the way they play because of, teams have, can muscle up. But that's not the Blues game though. Like the Blues game has always been a running game. I remember back in 96, 97, it was a quick game. Fast game is a good game. That was almost their motto at the time. That was when they had the likes of Rupeni Thadam Booker. You had Doug Howlett. You had, Carlos Spence. That was the motto then. Whereas, when I hear people say, "Oh, it'll be hard for them to go back to playing just bashing the ball up to playing a fast game," it's in their genetics to play a fast game. And you look at the types of players that they got in the backline. You got Caleb Clark, you got Oriko Ioane, and Mark Telea. So they're not players that are just standing out on the wing and waiting for the ball to come. They actually get stuck in the mix, but that's their style of game. It's a running and open game, and I think they haven't found that balance yet, where they can actually, if they need to dominate up, if they can dominate up front, then they can give good ball for the backline. You see too many of the back forwards out in the backs running as a pod system. Sometimes they're not being effective. Like it's almost like they're just running. What feels like it, the way how their structure is. It's just they're running into a brick wall. There's no manipulating of the defence. There's and that's why you see that when they go forward and you see the guys running behind, the passes going behind. Their timing is off. It's either their timing is off. There's no comms, so that's just making it harder for the backs behind those pods to actually create anything. Where if you just go to the front and say, just smash it up the middle, bash it up in the middle, and then which brings their defence back in. With the pick and goes around the ruck, you bring the defence in, and then you quick ball out to the backs to do their thing. But you don't see the teams doing that now, like, because you have pod setups after pod setups, and it's just how they structure their game. It's just sort of really repetitive, just looking at other teams do the same thing.
Yeah, because I find them predictable. Because they're setting up for the pod, and obviously they're going to use it.
But
no way is the halfback's going to pass it out.
But you look at the way the Irish and the French and them utilise their big forwards in those pod systems out wide. They're actually manipulating the defence. You actually see them engage. You actually see them take it up to the line, and you engage the defender so it stops them from just drifting. And then they're either passing it back or the other way, either inside or outside to the guy floating around the back door. So they're really good at really manipulating the defence like that. Whereas, New Zealand rugby, we just hit it to the pod, splash it up, and then if he's strong enough to get through, he'll get through. But there's actually no skill set no skill in keeping that defensive line attached to them, then letting the ball go, so then there's an overlap outside, because that's what they're trying to create. But you're right, like you said, it just seems like they're bashing their head against a wall.
And that's the difference I find when I watch the Six Nations games, because around the breakdown, it's to me it's like sped up. It's more faster. It looks faster. Whereas you see these New Zealand teams, All Blacks especially, when they do the pod thing, like, it's predictable, but it's kind of like, we know what's going to happen. It's kind of boring.
Yeah, but it almost looks like they're just going through what their training regime is, like what they've been training at, and that's all good.
Yeah, there's no creativity with it, eh?
Yeah, that's right. That's why you see the likes of the French, when they do their pick and goes around the ruck, it's like continuous. And if it's not a pick and drive, it's then a pop off the ground. So they're keeping that ball moving and just it's just flowing, man. So you either take the contact, flick the ball, take the contact, flick the ball.
That's right, and you see that a lot in Six Nations. They pop the ball up a lot.
Yeah, man, all the time. Yeah, and
they don't wait for the people to blow away. They just try and get rid of it straight away. As soon as they get tackled, they try to release it and throw it back in.
Yeah.
If they
That's
can,
right, man. So and also just even without hitting and going to the ground, they're also just taking a contact and then just popping a ball while they're still up off the ground. So they're just keeping that continuity for the ball going, and then what the defense is doing is they're backpedaling, man. They're just going to be trying to get onside, and if you hit and pop the ball maybe 4 or 5 times, you're bound to catch somebody offside. So that it's just another way of, but that's what New Zealand rugby don't do, it's almost the players, like you hit, they take the ball out wide, the centre goes down, and then it's just getting the ball and getting it back out, expecting like it should be a pattern of, you get the ball out wide, the forward hits the ball up, then the pick and drive, and then maybe back out to the backs. Do you know what I mean? It's about sharing that. It's almost like sharing the ball with both sides of the, with the backs and the forwards, and evenly. It's not just about getting the forward to splash it up all the time, and then expecting the backs to do a miracle. It's about okay, but that's where your number 9, and your 10, like, that's where Dupont. When you look at Dupont, that's where he's so good, bro. That's why they say and that's why Aaron Smith sort of scaled back a bit, but Dupont at the moment, bro, like from a directing his using his big forwards well to getting the ball out to his backs to do their thing, he's good, man. He's really good, eh? That's what New Zealand at the moment lack. Is that we lack like at the moment we got halfbacks that get in there and they love running with the ball, but then just about utilising their big forwards just to punch it up or just pick and drive, because at the moment, you'll see it during the game, is that you'll see that there's a line, but then everybody's focused on sort of heading out rather than where the ruck area is, and you'll see it in the games. You have a look next week, or even when you have a watch over a few games again, and you'll see around there's probably 2 or 3 in the ruck from the team that's got the ball, and then the defensive side you'll see the rucks. Sometimes a lot of them are looking to head out rather than just to keep an eye on, their pod system, also their pillar systems, or what they call in that defensive. There's a one on either side of the ruck that's specifically to guard that with a pick and drive that goes there. But the halfback is almost always out of position because he's supposed to be in that middle part of that ruck.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 on the side of the ruck, and then the halfback in behind the defensive line. That sort of really, he sees where the ball is going and directing his defence line. So I don't see enough of that in what I've seen with the New Zealand teams. But everybody says, because we're running the ball and they're getting the ball out wide, but they neglect. They don't see those little things like that. Probably some of the things I sort of get a bit picky on, but that's just stuff you sort of, I enjoy looking at that stuff and that.
Yeah, because when I watched the Moana game, and they've been showing it for the last 2 rounds they've been playing, but their forwards there have got some good go forward. I mean, their pick and goes are pretty strong, and they dominated the Highlanders when they were on their 22.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They scored most of their tries like that, so that's their strength. So if they can get a team into their 22, just use the forwards to bash them up and score a try that way. Anyway.
Yeah, but they've also got the backs to do it as well. They've got the wingers and the fullback. They've got the really good backline to be able to do some really good damage to other teams. But like you said, that's they got depth. In their squad. Like they've got some really good players that can come off the bench and add value. I think, like I said, Artie should be their number 7. Like to me, man, he's a much better number 7, and also, and then have that Tongan kid at number 8, and then Havili at 6. He'll add. That'll be a good combination. Loose forward combination.
I was talking to a friend of mine. He reckons Adi switch to 7 so he can teach Nawae. Listen, because he stole the ball off him a couple of times too, and shut him down. So he probably seen him get all these accolades in the last 2 weeks. And, watch this then. But
that's it. But when you talk about Tawa Noah, he was good. He was just as good too. He made some mistakes. There was some key errors that he made. But I think the beauty of what he's learning is that he's not letting those mistakes get to him. Like that kick where he kicked and he went out on the full, and like the next couple of plays he gets a turnover. So that he's switched on now. And that's also another lesson for a lot of these Polynesian boys. It's about when they make a mistake, they don't drop their heads, and then the whole game goes out of the way. It's just next job. Move on to the next job, man.
It was unfortunate because they had that. I think it was the second half of the first half. You had the first half, you had the last half of the first half where Highlanders scored 3 quick tries off mistakes. I think the first one was off a pass, the number 9, Tabanseni. He threw an intercept pass to Tangitau. He ran all the way, scored a try. And the second one, I think it was down the Basham. He dropped the high ball, and then it went loose, and then Talia picked it up and scored a try.
But you watch how, and you watch how he would have gone up and caught that ball. Like they would have trained that. But if you were in another team, like if you were in a team in France, and you were dropping those balls and making them, so you wouldn't be playing the following week, because that's your job. You don't get to say sorry or like, sorry, bro, like but get it right in the next one, But that's the thing. Like he might be a good kid, Garden Bishop, that. But look now, like I said, I thought he was going to be good. I thought he was going to add some really good value, but he hasn't.
No,
You know,
no, he hasn't.
like he really hasn't. And for me, and that's just for me, from an outsider looking, I don't think he's added any control or any team game management. For Moana, that's what they need. Somebody that can come in and just drive the team around. And if it was me, I'd probably go and get go get a palangi from just outside the regions. Go look at the Welsh rugby. They might have a few number 10s that might be looking to come and play in the Super Rugby to test themselves and just
That won't be that'll be easy because isn't Stephen Jones there? He's the assistant.
Yeah, but
Doesn't he
that's
like assistant? You should ask him for some of those players to come down.
But he's not fit enough to be a 10, bro.
Oh, he looks overweight too.
Bro, he's better off probably playing in second 5 or centre. No, second 5. He can go inside centre.
Man.
That's like as a 10.
He can be a
you want him to
kicking
be
12.
nimble and
he can bowl. He can bowl a few 12s over. Yeah, man. The 3 losses. I think it gets harder for Moana. I think that the next games are going to be against who they got. Let's see.
Do they have Wellington next? Yeah, they got Wellington next. Yeah. They got
again.
Wellington,
Again. Oh no, again. Oh no, not again. Yeah, the Highlanders. Hurricanes. Yeah, they got Hurricanes. They got Hurricanes, Chiefs, and Crusaders. So the next game for Hurricanes, that'll be their chance to redeem themselves for their loss against the Blues. But that's a team one that could win, eh? If you think about it, eh? Like if they clean up all those
errors.
Those errors in that.
All those errors that they've produced in the last 3 games. But that comes down to fatigue too. Like being able to do all of those catch and passes and tackling under fatigue. That's what guys like you see, like Artie, man. Remember 80 minutes for 80 minutes for the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Bro, he's machine, man.
Speaking of Hurricanes. Oh yeah, go.
No, just see. I think he's he's just working hard, eh, man. And I think you can't. If your captain's working that hard, and I'd feel stink, but as a player, if I'm there and I'm not as tired as my captain, man. That's. I think that's the type of mentality that those players need to be bringing in. I think this, and maybe I'm probably just a bit. I know we as a culture, or Polynesian culture, we tend to sort of always let things go and sort of make laugh of it. It's just almost like any little thing mistake, we sort of laugh at it, and it's just, just to sort of. But it shouldn't be, like there's a time and place for it. But then, like when you're coming into, when you're training in an environment where it's pretty much work, and if you don't work, you don't get paid. And so at the moment where there's, I don't know what the program underneath those players in that program are playing, whether they are whether they're actually anyone pushing through, or those, just with that pathway, just to be able to say, I better turn up every week, I better be consistent with what I'm doing, or else I'm going to either be on the bench or I'm going to be playing club rugby next week. I'd like to think that that's where they're going to be heading with it, but you just don't know.
It's a bit of a revolving door around Moana, because as soon as a player stands out, the All Blacks will pounce and put them in the New Zealand franchise team to line for All Blacks. But in saying that, though, I think you're describing the problem for Auckland rugby. Because Auckland rugby, like if you're in the system for a long time as a kid and you go through the grades and through the Auckland system, they they're loyal to you, if you stay there. And even though there's guys under you that might be better, they'll move them down to the Chiefs or move them down to Christchurch or something like that.
Just different. Be that bit of both. Like coaches have different preferences.
Yeah.
Coaches have different ideas of how a player they think can really suit them in their game that they want to play, that they want to see their team play. Like you look at like Hoskins. Like again, he was pretty quiet on Saturday. He again, is his mind really there? And then you look at Harry Plummer. Like, man, I'd cut my losses with Harry. If I was Vern, just let him go, like release him and let him go to France and let him hit himself in rather than just persevering through. Like it's get another kid, grow another kid in that position while Broden's there and you can mentor that kid and then that Forbes kid can play fullback. Then you got Zan Sullivan and you got Perfetta coming back. So I just think like they should cut their losses with Plummer, to be honest, rather than just persevere, because he's not really doing what he did last year. You know what I mean? And last year was easy because like you had forwards that were just going to bash it up. This year you had to change the game around to actually suit, and when your forwards are constantly getting beat up and going backwards, it's hard to run. It's hard to run a team when you're consistently going backwards. Like,
yeah, he has been sort of limited in his his position in the team as starting 10. But I just want to bring up this because I did the thing where it was the battle of the Harrys. It was the battle of the Harrys between Harry Godfrey and Harry Plummer, the two opposite number 10s in that game.
Yeah.
That Godfrey guy, he's good, eh? Like he can run the ball. He's a good runner, eh? Like man, I think New Zealand's got pretty good depth of 10s now, eh? Like these young guys, like the Chiefs 10, he's pretty good too, huh?
Yeah,
he's pretty useful.
Yeah. And they're
even that Crusaders 10 that they're using, eh? To start.
Yeah.
So these are sort of
100%, man.
These are running first 5/8s that can see the gap and just take off like quick, eh? So
they're not afraid. They're not afraid to take the line on, man. And that's
right.
good to see.
Yeah.
That 10, that Godfrey kid, man, he was good. I think he'll be around for a while, man, because there's him. Like that to Maha or Takaha down at the Crusaders.
Yeah.
And then you've got who's the other one from the Chiefs, like you said, but. That Godfrey kid can also be a 15,
Yeah, it'll be a good battle between him and Ruben Love. Because he's a similar player, eh?
Yeah. Very similar, yeah.
So I looked at the stats between Godfrey and Plummer, and there's no match, eh? So Godfrey ran 68 meters compared to Plummer's 0. Godfrey had 13 carries against Plummer's 2 carries. Don't know how you get 2 carries and get 0 meters. 4 passes to Plummer versus 7 passes to Godfrey, but it was Godfrey that won. He beat one defender and one clean break. So
yeah, but what about? I thought he would have been more defenders than that when he went and scored that try. Like that. But I think probably one positive I got to see from the Blues, even though they won and that, but. The one positive I saw was that kid that played lock.
Oh, Berry. Yeah,
man.
I seen him play in NPC. He was good.
He was really good.
Yeah.
I liked what he's about.
Josh Berry.
Really liked what. Yeah, man. Like he was awesome. He played really well, I think he's going to be there for a long time. I think he complemented. I think he's actually better than Derry, to be honest.
Because he can run there. Yeah. He did a nice run on the side.
And he's just got a good set of skills about him. Like, just he's a natural runner, like you can just see the way that plays and how he goes about his work. So I liked him. So he'll be good. He'll be good moving forward for the Blues.
So before the game, I was hoping the Blues would win, but I wouldn't be surprised if they lost.
Yeah.
Because I knew Hurricanes having their problems too. I think it's their personnel. I think Adi was there will make a big difference. I think they're missing them,
Yeah.
But it was also good to see, man, that Umanga Jensen, like he had a strong game,
Who's that?
Umanga Jensen.
Yeah.
Peter Umanga Jensen.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what the Blues are missing in the midfield, like a bash them up kind of number 12 or 13,
Yeah. I still see Rico as a wingman.
Yeah.
Like
he's not the type to jam in the line,
No. But and I'd rather see Rico on the wing, Caleb at 12, AJ Lamb at centre, and then Mark Talia and Rico on the wings. That'll be my backline. Like you look at and you talk about Tava Nawai and just the build that he's got, the loaded ground. So like Caleb can kick, like Caleb, like he's probably 24 now. He can go into that position and it should be a natural fit for him.
At 12, 12 or 13?
Yeah, man. 12. Like we don't really have somebody that can actually bend the defensive line in that 12 jersey, we talk about being devastating as a winger in that, but like how often is he going to get the ball out wide there? Look at what the Blues aren't getting him the ball, so he's having to go in to look for work, and you see him when he comes into the closer contact, he's still strong. Do you know what I mean? Like he can, but then he'll be smart enough to be able to, not just have to bash through a wall, but go around that wall too. Like look for the space to attack. So, he'll be my 12, and then AJ Lamb at centre, and then Rico and Mark Talia on the wingman. That would be my Blues backline, but that's wishful. That'll be my fantasy team, bro.
There was that last try to win the game. Started from Gordon Barrett at the back, and he just weaved his way, gave the ball to Clark, and Clark came on the inside, crashed the ball up, and then the ball came out, ended up in Mark Talia's hand, and man, that awesome try, man, when he stepped
you see the damage he did when he cut back on the inside, and you imagine do that in close quarters, off 10 and 12, just a simple 1-2 cut, and he'll get the ball over the ahead of the advantage line, which is what you want your forwards to do. And as much as I like Anton Leonard-Brown and that, but he's better 13. Better at distributing than trying to crash up and look for space in the inside. Because with the way the defenses are going, it's hard there's hardly any gaps.
Yeah.
Especially around the 10, 12 area, and because you've got so many, got so much defense that's coming inside that area, it's going to be hard to try and break. But if you've got somebody that's got good feet like Caleb Clark, and then can really bump a player off or just break that defensive shoulder, it's just that just creates that momentum for the forwards to come around and just keep going because everybody's backpedaling. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. This is my just message up to the Blues silly. Just start changing your players around.
So you got a line to good mate Craig over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I see some frustration. I see some frustrations on Craig's face there. Like
I saw him flipping the bottle. He was flipping the bottle
from winning the comp, winning the comp last year to where they are at the moment, the bottom of the table. That's it's a lot to take in, man. But they'll come out of it. They'll come out of it. You probably see take that win. Take that win on Saturday and just
I'll take that win. I'll take that win, and hopefully they learn from it and try to get some of that sort of stuff they had last year, eh? They needed it back because they haven't found it yet. I don't think. I think this was a game they should have won in hindsight. Or was it just the Hurricanes? Hurricanes aren't doing that well as either. But they need to do better than that game against the Hurricanes. And they've got the Brumbies up next, have they?
Who's that, sorry? The Blues?
Yeah, who they got next?
No,
The Brumbies.
Crusaders. I think you got the Crusaders this week. In at Eden Park, eh?
Nah, Brumbies. Oh, it says... What is it?
Did the Brumbies, they got...
Brumbies, then Chiefs, then Crusaders. Yeah, so it's going to be a test there. Yeah.
Be a good one, bro.
Sweet. Did you want to touch on the other games? Because I never watched them. But who did you find interesting? The Australian games?
Oh, probably the Drua and the Waratahs game, man. That was a tough loss for the Drua, man. Like, I was pretty vocal on Facebook with my with the refereeing. Like, man, they were shocking, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they showed the replay and some guy got another guy in the headlock.
Yeah, and it was the captain. But the funny thing is that the TMO said there was nothing wrong with it. Yeah, like the TMO, like the ref said, TMO said there was nothing wrong with it. Play on, you know. But if it had been the other way around, you know, but it was a Fijian on a Fijian, you know. So, and you know, and you could spin that however you want, you know. It's just that's just like, for me, that's just unconscious bias, you know. Like, it's you know, why, you know, there were a few decisions that were made, like it was just poor decisions from the referees, man, and even the touch judges. You know, like, I don't know why they didn't have a New Zealand referee that game. You know, like, it should have been a New Zealand referee that should have refereed that game. You know, and just like how they do when they were here in when the Kiwis are referee playing. You know, I don't know why they haven't gone to some overseas and brought in some overseas referees. You know, would have been good. But yeah,
so Lee wasn't playing, eh?
Eh?
So Lee, he wasn't there. He wasn't. Nah. He was injured there.
No, I felt for Moana. Oh, sorry, for the draw there. Like, they deserved that game. They played really well, man. I just think, and this is my own opinion, and that I just think they were playing against the referee more so than anything else, because, like, skill for skill, they were better than the Waratahs, bro. You know, way better. You know, I don't care what people say, but, like, if you want a running game, man, those Fijian boys, they'll run it from anywhere, man. And what's good about them now is like their error rate has gone down. You know, they're still making some mistakes, but not as bad as the ones that Moana make. You know, like, so they're really, just in the last 3 weeks, man, just how they've been playing. You know, you see with the close loss that they had with with the Brumbies. You know, and then with the close loss against the Hurricanes, and then the short trip from the Hurricanes up to Sydney, you know, like the quick turnaround to Sydney to play the Waratahs, you know, like and to still turn up and play like that and almost take the win, you know, like you can't fault that. So I really felt for Glenn Jackson and his team, and he's doing some good things with him.
Yeah, it's always sad when I see Drua lose to these teams, as long as it's not the Blues.
But you see the commentary on, you know, on the social media though, you know, they were just ripping the ref, man, you know, like, you know, just you don't want to be, you know, ripping the ref like that, but, you know, like, how are you supposed to keep fans when a referee is always making the decisions that just look like he's been biased towards the team? You're like, it's obvious in the way that he's, you know, officiating the game, which is pretty sad. What do you do, man? And then who else was in? And then the Chiefs and the Brumbies game, man. Chiefs, they're just too good, bro.
Yeah, they're just like too good at the moment. They're way ahead of everyone else, eh? They look way ahead of everyone else.
But they were, to be honest with you, they were like that last year, eh? You know, like they were at they were out of the gates last year
Mm.
the same way, and then went through and then come to the final and it was a different game. It's again, they came up against a Blues outfit in the final last year that just bullied them around the field. And no, I could be wrong. Did they lose? Did the Chiefs win last year's game against the Blues? The first game? I think they did, eh?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Because, I thought they did, which would have been an interesting stat to have a look at.
Nah, they lost the 31-17.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
the 1st of June.
Yeah, so the Chiefs, they've got some good, they've got some good, really good players coming up through as well, man. I like that number 8 that they've got. There's a number 8 that they've got.
Simon Parker.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I like him, and they still got Wallace Atiti to come back. So I'm still not convinced about Saipeni Finau or Tupo Vai. So I'm not convinced about them yet. I'll wait to see how they go. But I know they rate Tupo Vai really high. But yeah, he's been too many times to they're just trying to be like rub it into players' faces and that.
Yeah.
It's just one of those annoying things. That's probably what I hate about it. But yeah.
Yeah.
No, just. Yeah, I was saying I didn't watch the Six Nations, but this week I might get in some of the Six Nations. That France and Ireland game definitely will be one.
Nice. Yeah, I want to check out the Six Nations this week. That'll be a good game, like you said.
Yeah.
The Ireland-France game.
And being there, I think it might be if it's in France, man, it'll be a sellout. So they sell it out, bro. Man, they go hard. But that's it, man. It'll be good.
Yeah, man.
Good catch up for next week.
Yeah, we'll do this again next week. Yeah, thanks for jumping on, man.
Easy.
So what's up for the rest of the day? Man, it's only 2 o'clock over there? 2:30?
Yeah, well, it's going on to 2:30, and I've got I'm just involved with a coaching clinic for some regional rep teams here.
Oh, nice.
So just going out to assist. Just for the youth, I think it's the under 16s and under 18s girls regional teams. So they've got their first training tonight and just doing some skills blocks for them.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
Yeah. Nothing else, and back to work tomorrow.
Yep. Man, thanks for jumping on, man. We'll do it again next week.
Yeah, sweet. Sounds good.
Right.